If I take this data from Digital Report 2020, daily time spent with media, we saw the statistic just now is on average 6 hours 43 minutes using the internet. Can you imagine that? Out of 24 hours, usually our office working hours is about 8 hours. So out of 24 hours, 6 hours 43 minutes, about 7 hours almost, people are using internet. What about social media? What 2 hours 24 minutes using social media in different form. You know, the Facebook, the Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and so on. WhatsApp, Telegram. So those are considered social media. YouTube, watching the video on YouTube. So can you imagine this? This figure actually give us some idea or a picture of how the power of technology really now changing the habits, the so-called the way we learn, the way we get information, have access to information. So this is what the term now, learning on demand. Okay, learning on demand, meaning that learning can happen. We learn best by acquiring information that is relevant to us in the moment based on our current context. Learning on demand simply means we can learn just in case when we need that kind of certain kind of information, or when you want to learn certain skill, you want to learn certain concept just in time. When we need to learn just in time, we can learn about a particular thing just enough. Yeah. For example, you want to learn how to bake a chocolate cake, but you don't know how to do it. So you just go to YouTube and watch a few videos on how to bake a chocolate cake just in time. Okay, when you need it, and just enough. It means that I want to learn about baking a chocolate cake. I don't want to know about how to bake a cheesecake. So they want, maybe I can learn later. But right now, I want to learn how to bake a chocolate cake. Just enough, and just for me. Just for me, meaning that we can personalize and customize our own learning. Meaning that we can create our own so-called playlist. Yeah. If you use a music platform like Spotify, for example, so you can create your own playlist. If you watch a video on YouTube, you can create a playlist on cooking, playlist on sport, playlist on music, whatever. So you can personalize. Playlist is actually a form of personalizing your own learning. It's only for you. Okay, so that is what we call learning on demand, anytime, anywhere, anyhow. So that's the reason why now, have you heard about this story? A few years ago, YouTube trained dentist fined. This lady has been fined, has been caught by the authority doing practice, pretending to be like a dentist, but she didn't have a qualification as a dentist, so it's a fake dentist. But when she was asked, how did you learn all this technique, to do all these dental procedures? She said, I watch on YouTube. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's not impossible now. We can learn just about anything from YouTube. There's another story. The silver medalist of Olympic in Rio de Janeiro, Julius Higo. He won the Olympic silver medal in Olympic, and he said he doesn't have a proper coach, but he learned the technique of javelin from, guess what? From YouTube. So there are many stories like this, meaning that it's not impossible nowadays. You can learn just about anything from YouTube and from the internet. So learning is no longer and shouldn't be confined in a classroom anymore. It shouldn't be confined within the four walls of physical classroom, because we can learn anywhere, anytime. Okay. So the question is, how do we create a meaningful learning experience using technology? That's actually the challenge for educators, for teachers, for lecturers, for educators. How do we create a meaningful learning experience that would give a memorable, unforgettable learning experience for our students? So they need a change of mindset now. With all the technology that we have now, this is where the philosophy of open education now come in. So this is where MOOC, massive open online courses, and now micro-credential. All these are actually based on the philosophy of open education. What does it mean by open? Okay, so the change in philosophy, many years ago, maybe 20 years ago, people try to keep their knowledge with themselves. They are so possessive, they are so stingy, they don't want to share. But now it's changing. The change in philosophy where we are looking at knowledge now as a collective social product, and the desire and the desirability of making it a social property. We want to share now. Okay. So the concept of learning is sharing. Learning is sharing is caring. Sharing is growing. I really love that concept. Learning is sharing. Sharing is caring. Sharing is growing, because the more we share, the more we gain, the more we share, the more we grow as a person. Okay. So LinkedIn CEO Jeff Weiner, he said, this is a moment in history when people can learn anytime, anywhere, with no boundaries. And this concept of open education, the philosophy of open education, is actually supporting the United Nations and UNESCO agenda, that is, everyone has the right to education. Okay, and now we have that original concept has evolved into a so-called sustainable development goal. There are 17 sustainable development goals called SDG. I don't know, they sound academic a little bit, but if you read about sustainable development goal, SDG, there are 17 of them, and SDG number 4 is about education. It's about providing inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for everyone, for all. And in Malaysia, our government, through Ministry of Education, Ministry of Higher Education, we have this blueprint, Malaysia Education Blueprint in Higher Education, where shift number 9 here is about online learning, globalized online learning. So ladies and gentlemen, the future of learning is open. What does it mean by open? Open can mean many things. Open source, free resources, okay? Open versus proprietary. Proprietary means, it's not free. If you want to have this book, you must buy. If you want to watch this video, you must pay. But that is proprietary. Everything is about money. But now we have also information and knowledge which we can access free. And that is where MOOC, M-O-O-C comes in. Massive open online courses. So ladies and gentlemen, because of the technology and the connectivity that we have now, sometimes we feel the world is getting smaller, because we can Skype, we can have Zoom or WebEx, just like what we are having now. Dr. Azlina and the group from Kelantan there in the East Coast. I'm in Penang now, and some of the participants here probably come from different parts in Malaysia and maybe outside Malaysia as well. So we can communicate in real time. So the world is getting smaller, really. So this is where the concept of open education, reaching out global learners, delivering education for all. So MOOC, M-O-O-C, Massive Open Online Course, is actually a form of online learning where everyone can have access, free of charge. Yeah. So now, because of the openness, everyone can access education even from university like Harvard in this picture. So this is actually, you can find on YouTube. If you go to YouTube and search Justice 101 Harvard University, you can actually watch the whole series of lectures on the topic of justice, you can get Harvard quality education on YouTube. That's what I mean by having access to education. You want to learn about financial markets? Go to open Yale courses. You know, Yale one is of the Ivy League University in US. You can go there. You can learn for free. That's what open, education is about.